what I try and express in my book is that this is just a better technology for money. Like your technology for money is a broken technology that is optimized for your government to steal from you. It's optimized for the government to be able to finance its operation. That's why we have a central bank. The central bank is not there to help you have money. We've had money without central banks, so we can have money without monopoly central banks. It's entirely possible to have a free market monetary system on any form of money. And the free market will choose money on its own. Gold was not chosen as money because governments passed laws saying gold needs to be money. Gold was chosen as money before all of the world's current existing governments existed. And all of the governments that chose gold as money chose it because it was money and it was chosen by the market. And if they wanted to operate as governments, if they wanted to operate, they needed to acknowledge the market's choice. So it's the market that determines what money is. And the market is perfectly capable of providing money. And in the 20th century, in the Fiat standard, which I discussed in my second book, it was just this complete destruction of the concept of money by turning it from an output of the free market into essentially a government cartel for governments and banks to operate this thing in a way that is optimized for them to finance their operation at the expense of the users, unfortunately.
How much longer do you think the dollar has left, honestly?
I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't believe as an economist from the Austrian school. I don't believe you can make quantitative predictions in economics because ultimately economics is about human action, and it's not possible to just predict how humans react to stimuli. Humans are not physical objects. So if you throw a ball of a certain weight with a certain speed, you can make a very accurate prediction about how far it'll travel and where it'll land and so on. You can't do that with humans acting. So I don't really have a crystal ball to tell me that. But I think, to paraphrase John Lennon, the dollar is over if you want it to be. For me, the dollar is over. It doesn't matter anymore, whatever happens with the dollar. And I think, I used to live in Lebanon when the hyperinflation happened. And because of Bitcoin, didn't matter to me when the Lebanese currency's Ponzi scheme blew up. People think places like Lebanon and Zimbabwe are just exceptional places, exceptionally corrupt governments that have destroyed their currencies. I think it's an extremely common thing. If you look at it realistically, all currencies are in hyperinflation at slow motion. They're all losing value, and obviously there's a lot of money to be made if you can predict those things. Like if you knew when the Lebanese currency was going to collapse, then you could have taken out a big giant loan in the Lebanese lira and used it to buy hard assets and then paid it off at very cheap price. So there is perhaps an art and a science to trying to predict the mortality of national currencies. But I prefer to live my life and just hold Bitcoin because you end up doing it much better. I think, you may be right, you may be wrong when you're trying to time these things, but in the long run, Bitcoin is the short on all of those currencies. And in the long run, Bitcoin's scarcity is just going to enforce itself. So for me, one of the real appeals to it is the fact that once you buy Bitcoin, you're just... You're trusting in the software. Well, you're not really trusting, you're verifying, and you run the software on your computer. You can see the code, and you know that there's not going to be more than 21 million, and you know that nobody can make more of it, and you know nobody can take away your coins. So then that means you can go and live your life. You can go and be productive, write a books, be a doctor, be an engineer, paint people's houses, drive a cab, whatever it is. Do a productive thing for society. Spend less than you earn, save the rest in Bitcoin, and live your life. And this is what it was like under the gold standard before everybody had to be a part-time fund manager in order to be able to keep the wealth that they've earned. As I say, this is the fiat standard. Under the fiat monetary system, you have to earn your money twice. Once when you work for it, and then once when you take it to the fiat capital market casino and try and win it. It's like we work in, it's just like you work at a factory and then you're not allowed to take your pay home from the factory. You've worked all day, but before you go home, you have to go to the factory's casino, gamble your money, and hope that you make more. And some people can get wiped out, and some people can lose all of the work that they do. This is sort of what it is like in the fiat world. And honestly, I pity people like this. Like I see them on Twitter. I see the financial analysts on Twitter, like having nervous breakdowns over what the Fed is going to do, and is the Fed going to do this, and what's the Bank of Japan going to do? And really, it's insane to imagine that, your own family's well-being, your own wealth, the money that you've already worked for, can be taken away from you if you guess incorrectly what the Fed or the Japanese central bank or some geopolitical thing. If you think Russia is not going to invade Ukraine and then they do, your portfolio could get wiped out. Everything that you've worked for all of your life could be lost, and that's because you're essentially for your money, you're using casino chips. You're using casino chips, and the only way that you can spend that money is to have to go through the blackjack table, and you have to go through the roulette, and you have to go through all of those games, and you have to master all of those games. It's like an obstacle course to try and keep your money, and because it is optimized to take your money away from you. And Bitcoin fixes all of that. That's for me the appeal here, because look, there's 21 million, and if you have one of those 21 million, that's it. You're always going to have 1 out of 21 million of all the coins. And you don't have to worry about somebody taking it away from you. You don't have to worry about somebody devaluing it by printing more of it. That's what it ultimately comes down to.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public. And he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast. It's going to be bloody. It's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. Hey, do you want to profit from crypto? Then join my DeFi Academy. The Crypto DeFi Academy will help you create generational wealth. But don't take my word for it. Listen to my students.
When I first got into crypto, I remember thinking to myself, I need to learn more. Brian Rose, learning crypto, learning DeFi, gotta do it.
I am so grateful that I jumped in and did this. I had to break through some limiting beliefs that I can do this, that I can afford this, that I can be in this.
It challenges the things that are deeply rooted within us.
Joining DeFi Academy has been one of the best decisions I have made on my blockchain journey.
This course was a life changer, a game changer, a huge eye-opener, coming from knowing practically nothing at the speed of the learning over 4 weeks was just fantastic.
The information you provided in this class was invaluable.
I feel far more confident in my next steps.
You took complex concepts and made them easier to understand.
What's different than so many other ones is it just doesn't tell you what to do. It actually makes you do it.
This is for people who are serious about becoming traders. This is the way it should be done.
I realized from this learning experience again that it is not about what you learn, but about who you learn it from.
The energy was insane. I've never experienced such incredible energy on a live call. Brian Rose, you are a legend, my friend.
It's the only thing in the market where you can get all information and learn everything what you need to know.
Everything is so clear and so well done, and I am just forever grateful for this program.
It made me feel so much more confident about crypto than I did before.
I did not anticipate how passionate I was going to become about it.
It's also been like a big learning experience for me, not just in the crypto space, but just an overall balance of life.
What I've learned is, how to take ownership, of my life in a way that I really hadn't before.
Yeah, you can't put a price on that, really.
I would recommend it to anybody, top notch.
Excellence does not come cheap. So if you want excellence, you got to pay for it, but it's so worth it.
Pull the trigger. That's what this course is about.
You're not going to regret it, really. It's amazing.
Thank you, Brian and team.
So what are you waiting for? Crypto is happening now. Click the link below, submit your application, and let me mentor you on how to create generational wealth and build the decentralized financial infrastructure of the future.